What's up, everybody? Sorry about the late start today. I wasn't sure if I could fit it in, and I was trying to get stuff done, but in the end I was like, we got to get things going, and everything worked out. So might be kind of a short one today. I'm waiting to hear back about my truck that's back in the shop again and hopefully getting fixed right now. So but anyway, enough about me. Today we're going to be turning up the aluminum, well, starting to turn the aluminum crinkle, the big blank that I wanted to turn into a sphere. So let me switch views really quick. There it is. It's kind of blown out a little bit. Sorry about that, but maybe if I turn the light off. Yeah, that's a little bit better. We'll get you guys over in here. Kind of give you a look at this guy. It's a pretty cool looking blank. I'm pretty excited about it. And so I want to turn it. It's a 3-inch blank. So we're going to turn a little bit of the sphere. So what I'm going to do today is just kind of start shaping it into that spherical shape so that I can set up the sphere jig, the Carter sphere jig, and give that a whirl again. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing good today. Big thank you to everybody who left a comment on the giveaway redo video. There's been some just amazing comments. Thank you guys for all the really nice comments and all the support. So if you haven't seen that one, or if you didn't hear, we redid the giveaway because the whole thing got screwed up and all the comments ended up in my spam folder. So I'm going to put a link on the screen here just in case you haven't seen that video and haven't got entered yet. So we're changing it up. This time all I'm doing is just put a comment, which the one thing, and I mentioned it in the video, one of the reasons I use the code words is so that people can comment, but they don't necessarily have to get entered if they don't really want to win the prize or whatever. Though the one thing I didn't even think of is I actually can't comment when I do it without a code word. So everybody's been putting all these nice comments and I'm like, thumbs up, like that's the only thing I can do. So I put a post up though on YouTube in general, thanking everybody for all the great comments. It was really nice hearing from everybody. And this one seems to be going good because there's like 500 and something comments on this one. I wasn't sure if the pen blank mold was really going to be that wanted for a giveaway. And so, but when we were going through the last giveaway, I mean, there was like nobody that entered, and I was like, what is going on? This thing's weird. So obviously you guys are interested in getting a pen blank mold or, the set. So that is good to hear, and I'm glad that we were able to redo everything, and this one's going good. One thing that I actually thought of thinking about those, these pen blank molds, let me just throw an idea out there. I know that not everybody's a pen turner, obviously, but with something like this where you have these slots, another project that would be actually pretty cool, and you don't have to be a turner to use this type of a mold, you could make pendants out of pen blanks. So something a little bit different, and that way all you really have to do, in some cases, maybe only a little bit of sanding, maybe cut it in half. You could get a couple hybrid pendants out of it, but just something a little bit different that, I'm calling these pen blank molds, but you could make other things with them. It occurred to me. So let me stop and see who's here. I know Jen and Doug and Billy and Eric are here. I saw them commenting earlier, and Amber too. Let's see here. Who else is here? Let me scroll down. Billy got alcohol inks. Nice. Let's see. Yeah, they better fix it this time, Jen. This time, finally, and they're good people. I don't mean to harp on them. It's just this is out of control at this point. But finally, I pulled up today, and the guy's like, the owner was like, okay, let me just get in your truck. Let's drive. I want to hear exactly what do it the way that it's supposed to be, which is frankly, as long as you just roll the window down and how if you drive next to something, the sound kind of bounces off. I'm like, just all you got to do is drive next to a building or something, you can hear it. But he's like, oh, okay. And it did it really well. It was doing all its grinding and scraping noise. So hopefully they'll figure out what's going on. I will feel a lot better about it. So let's see here. Jen, you got your pen kits. Nice. Sweet. Let's see here. Who else is here? Woodshop and Daffy. Jim's here. Eric, Michael, man, lots of people. Paul, sweet. Even more people down in the bottom. Let's see here. Just started binging my channel. Nice. Oh, and I'm going to brag a little bit. A long time ago, I sent Peter Brown some aluminum honeycomb panels. I was like, oh, if anybody can do something fun with this stuff, he can. So I sent it to him a while ago. And I guess he actually made the video, like, I think last July, he said. But he finally got the video up, and what he did was a collaboration with Jimmy DiResta, and he actually used the honeycomb. He made a bunch of different knife handles. I will say he didn't use so Jimmy DiResta didn't use, oh, watch out, dinner's ready. He didn't use the honeycomb one. Which is, no big deal, but actually I really like the one that he chose. Peter Brown made a knife scale out of bandana, like a bandana, like Jimmy DiResta has one in his pocket all the time. I was like, oh, this is perfect. But it was really cool that I got a little bit of a shout out, a little notice and a link in Peter Brown's video, and I had a little tiny part in a collaboration with Peter Brown and Jimmy DiResta. It was just really neat. So I just wanted to, if you hadn't seen those videos, definitely go check it out. Peter Brown did a really awesome job. He made micarta out of 2 of them, and he did it so simply. The molds that he made were like no frills, simple, easy, and then his method of doing the micarta was really easy. He made it, it was a good technique. So if you're into making knife handles, definitely check out that video because it was really good. So I don't have the link to that, but it's over on Peter Brown's channel. A lot of you guys probably already saw it, but I just wanted to do a little bit of bragging on that one. It was pretty cool. So the other thing that I want to mention, I need to get going here and start working, but we got our blanks from last live stream on Friday. And let's see here. Let me see if I can set up a camera that might sort of work. Let's see if this will work. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm going to try and make this one bigger. Ooh, that's pretty dull. I'm not sure if I'm on the right one. But anyway, here's the one. Now this one, like when I pulled it out of the pressure pot, it was a little low, so I just added a little bit more resin. And it's looking pretty good now. There are some kind of little air pockets here and there in a couple of spots on these. You can see a couple there. This stupid camera will not focus on what I want it to. See if I move. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, this one was the macro pearl. So we got, most of it's all filled up, but there are a couple little holes here and there. That's a little bit disappointing, but I kind of figured that might happen. This one really looks good. This is the jade green with some macro pearl. This one's pretty full. There's like a tiny little pock mark there, but I mean the rest of the blank's pretty filled up. This one is the blood red, and again a couple little holes, but I don't think they're that big of a deal. I think they might be surface more, hopefully. And then this one is the interference. So pretty interesting. I'm excited to see how these work out. I'm going to pick one of these, and I'm going to use one to do the what am I trying to say? The segmenting thing that like from Chad's video. I'm going to try that out with that material, and it should be kind of fun. So we'll have to do that down the road. But anyway, everything's going pretty good here. So yay, macro pearl. Yeah, macro pearl is pretty cool. I like that one. So let's get the camera set up over there and let's start making some shavings. Let's see, one other announcement thing. I know you guys are like, shut up, start turning. But hold on real quick. I have some interesting, exciting news for me. I'm very excited about it. Alumilite, finally, after I've been, using their products and kind of, showing them off and stuff for like, 7, 8 years. They finally set up an affiliate program. I'm like kind of blown away. It's really cool. So I have an affiliate link to Alumilite, and you have to order it from alumilite.com. That might switch if you're buying it from someone else, then don't worry about it. But if you use this link and you buy stuff from Alumilite, they got a really pretty decent kickback thing for their affiliates. So it's a really great program for them to kind of thank the people, I guess, or, you know, provide a little something back for you know, talking up their products. So if you use my link, I get a little bit of a kickback and it costs you nothing. So I'm going to have that. I'll probably be putting that in all of my videos, and I'll have a link on my website. So if anybody wants to, if you're going to order from Alumilite, and if you go and use one of my links, you're helping support the show. So pretty cool. Big thank you to Alumilite for setting that program up. That's pretty cool. Yay, Alumilite. Yeah. Yeah. It is kind of nice. It's tough because there's a lot of companies that don't have affiliate pro. It's just not a thing, and it hasn't been a thing with resin companies really. And like, even if some other random, like I'd imagine Total Boat might have one. They've been pretty proactive about like supporting people that they're having show their stuff. I'm not sure about them, but most of the resin companies are like, yeah, whatever, we're good. We don't care if you send stuff. And I'm not saying Alumilite had that attitude about it, but it for many years it had been that way. They're just like, well, we have our, you know, sales distributors, and it doesn't really matter. But so Alumilite's definitely changed a lot, and I think a lot of it has to do with when they got purchased by Polytech, and there had been a lot of changes. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but their social media presence is massive at this point. Like, they got really good people working on social media, on Instagram and Facebook. They just set up a group, and their videos are like really good now. So if you guys are looking for other resin casting type stuff, silicone molds, they have a team of people that are doing content that are awesome at this point. So anyway, let's see here. You missed most of this. Sorry about that. I haven't started anything yet. I've been talking. So anyway, just wanted to let you guys know about that, and let's get over to the lathe. Excuse me. And, oh, that's the wrong one. And start turning something. I'm going to reposition this thing. I'm going to get my phone fired up so I can follow along with the comments as well. And I think this might be the best view that we got. I'm going to stick the dust collector. Is this thing zoomed out all the way? There we go. I got the dust. I'm going to hook up the dust collector this time. This thing, bigger blanks like this tend to just create a ton of dust and shavings. So let me get to my channel here. What's going on? My channel. Show me my channel. Here we go. I think this might be there. I am. The best view that we got. I'm gonna stick. Shush you. Yeah, House of Resin has Alumilite. I know they have clear and an amazing clear cast. And I think they might have some of their silicones for mold making. I'm not sure. Yeah, for anybody that's just joining the fun, I started late today. I wasn't sure. I had a lot of stuff that I was doing. I didn't even get to the shop until late. I'm also dealing with, I had to cancel the Turner's Warehouse classes, and in March, and it was right when everything COVID, the lockdown thing started, and I'm fighting with Hotels.com to get my money back. They're claiming that because I didn't cancel it online, I don't get a refund, even though their policy states that if I would have canceled online, I get a refund. But the problem was their customer service was totally unavailable. Like, you couldn't talk to anybody no matter how long you stayed online. It just said, call back tomorrow. 2 days in a row, and my stay was coming up. Like, I had to check into the hotel, and I'm like, and every time I tried to cancel online, because I could have done that, but it kept saying, you lose your money if you get no refund. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. So now they're claiming that because I didn't cancel, I don't get a refund. And I'm like, well, let's fight. Trucks and hotels, and where's my face mask? All right, so what I'm going to do here is just start kind of nibbling away and start putting the shape into this, the kind of spherical shape that I want. And then I'm going to use the sphere jig again. You really don't want to be like digging, hogging off a ton of material with that thing. You want to really get these kind of the corners fairly well taken care of. Then you can start nibbling with that jig. And again, last time I found the jig worked really well. I got really good results with it. So I'm gonna go for it again. But let's see here. So one thing that I'm gonna do, so it's a 3-inch blank. I'm yelling again. This is a 3-inch diameter blank, and what I'm gonna do is just kind of put some marks on this so I sort of know where, you know, my boundaries are. So it's not gonna be any bigger than 3 inches total. So let me get a Sharpie out just so I kind of know where I'm playing here. I'm not, you know, I've only done a few spheres, so I'm not at all an expert. I'm still learning the ropes a little bit with all this stuff, and so I'm just kind of giving myself some marks so I know where I want to go. I'm going to leave a little bit on the end here so that I can bring up the tailstock and then get rid of that later. Where'd my cap go? There it is. I don't know. I'm just fumbling around with this stuff, learning as I go. Okay, so bring the tailstock up here. Got it going about 2,000 or so. First thing I'm going to do is just true it up a little bit so it's not so vibratey. And I'm using the #1 hollower from Easy Wood Tools. I really like this thing. I like the smaller cutter. It seems to work really well on larger blanks. Originally I would pull out the biggest cutter, the CI0. I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna true this up. I need, like, you know, massive power and a big cut. And what ends up happening is you're taking a bigger cut with this bigger tool, and in the end, it actually works a little bit less efficiently. It's kind of, I don't know, it was a little bit backward in my mind. So I really like using the #1 hollower for doing all this kind of stuff. Let's see here. I'm going to stop real quick. Eric's saying something. I actually use a negative rate cutter in mine. I made my own bar. That's good, I guess, to hear, but I think that they would have been smarter if they would just make a bar that held a negative rate cutter. But I got to get behind the camera here. So this is the unit. Let's see here. Where's the other? So this is the top part that you know, the rest is the base. But I just made my own bar, and then I just mounted a negative rake, one of the Easy Wood Tools negative rakes on there. This is the original bar, and let me get behind so it focuses. This is the cutter that they give you, and it's basically, I don't know, it's so aggressive that it just chips a lot with resins. You can see the cup. Now it is kind of negative. It's like slanted down, but then there's this burr, which works great for wood, but I don't really think that's the way to go for resin. So I just ditched this bar and made my own, just using some cold rolled steel, tapped and threaded the hole. And I'm finding it works quite a lot better. But the key is you really have to set the thing up correctly. That's what I think is what I'm finding. Let's see here. Square cutter. I don't use the square cutters much. I think that, again, it's going to take a bigger cut, and For many things, I find the smaller cutter works a lot better, actually. I always would watch Carl Jacobson. He'd be like, oh, let me pull out my #1 hollower, and he's using it on resin for like everything. And I never got that until I got the #1 hollower and went, oh, okay, yeah, this thing works great. Hey, what's up, Otis? All right, let's see here. Dave, how's it going? I'll have to check into the new what they got for a cutter though. One thing that would be nice is if the new, I don't know if it's the same bar. Like if they change the bar, maybe you can just mount a negative rate cutter to it. I don't know. That makes more sense to me. Okay, here we go. Let's do a little bit more cutting. I wanted to mention one other thing that I've recently found. A lot of you guys are probably just going to totally laugh when I tell you this. All right, let's see how we're at here. Got just a little bit more to go, and then we'll have this thing fully trued up. And I don't need to necessarily totally true every inch of this thing, but it will run smoother on the lathe once it's all true. All right, I think that's probably pretty good. But what I was going to tell you guys, and I don't do this because way back early when I started with just, carbides, I would find that if I tilted if the bar rocked at all, I would get a catch on pen blanks or whatever I was turning. And so I'm always really adamant about keeping the square bar down, and I never angle it. And I decided to try on a pen blank, and I was just using the CI3, I think it's called. Yeah, just their regular round. Man, I was using this thing, and you can use it, like hold it like a gouge. And I mean, I can do it on this blank too. But I was always like scared to do that, even with the negative rate cutters, for fear of getting some kind of weird catch. And I don't think that it really can happen, so. If you want to get a shear cut, you can. It's a little bit harder on this one, but see what I mean? I think I need to rotate my cutter, but you can get in there, and what that really helps with on pen blanks is sometimes when you're trying to creep up on the bushing size, it's hard to get in there with just a round cutter. But if you tilt it, it's a lot easier to kind of get in there and do different details. Not to say that you are not ever going to get a catch doing something like that, but I do think it would be kind of hard to get a catch with these negative rate cutters. So a lot of you guys are probably like, yeah, I knew that. Welcome to the club, learn how to turn. Just came from years of getting catches whenever, not even trying to do it on purpose, but just with the regular cutters, I would get catches all the time with back in the day. So anyway, just something a little bit new that I found. All right, so I just trued it up and I lost all those marks that I put on it originally. So let's do that again. So, like I said, I want to leave a little bit on the end here so that I can keep the tailstock up for quite a bit, and then, get rid of the pin that's going to be in there, the dimple. Let me get my marker again. So I'm actually going to leave a ½ inch extra, I think. Well, maybe not that much. I'm going to go right around here. We're going to go right around here. So I'm going to kind of cut in here, and we're going to make that round shape. Now this is the hardest part, is visualizing the shape that you need to put on this. It's just kind of weird. So I usually just kind of take my time, but you know that on the ends, that's where you have to come in the most. And you can kind of just, if you can get it to where it's kind of like just at an angle, then you're good to go with the jig. I'm just trying to kind of hog this away. I'm not that worried. We just need to take off material. But man, I think this thing's going to be pretty wicked when we get it done. Look at that already. It's looking cool on the end there. Let's see if you guys what are you guys seeing? Let's zoom you guys in a little bit. Let's get this thing centered a little. Whoa, whoa. Isn't that pretty cool? So when the whole thing is spherical, I think, man, we're gonna have some really interesting shapes and things going on with these crinkles. So hopefully it plays fair and stays together the whole time. Let's see here, you guys are just talking. All right, you guys are just having fun. Hey, what's up, Alex? How's it going, bud? Let me get this thing in here a little bit closer. Hopefully it'll pick up some of these shavings. Where's my other side? Hold on a minute. Over here, okay. What am I doing on this side? So I've taken off my mark, so I can start kind of just nibbling this away, but I want to get on this side. I'm going to start coming in here. I'm going to need some space to get in, so I'm just going to take a little bit of material off. The beginning stages are all just kind of take as much stuff off as you can and approximate that sphere shape. I will say the closer you can get to a spherical shape off the bat, probably the better off. You know, you won't have to use the jig as much, taking small little bits off. There's lots of jigs out there now. There's, you know, everybody that has the Vermec loves it, but it is somewhat limited on how big you can go. But there's a couple of people in the UK making them that are getting good reviews, I guess. So lots of different ones, and then there's the Easy Sphere, I think, from Chefware Kits. Haven't tried that. I think Carl has, though. So I'm sure he's got a video. If anybody's looking into that one. That one works a little differently. It like cuts not horizontally, but like vertically. It's kind of a different way of doing things. Alright, so we're making some progress here. This is an interesting shape. You guys zoomed way in again? No, okay. Todd, what's happening? Ray, thanks for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate it. Hey, Crosscut's here. What's up? Okay, I'm going to keep going on this side again. This is what I like about the beginning. I just kind of go from side to side. I don't do anything methodically. I just do whatever. Again, one thing that I would recommend if you have aluminum or other sharp junk in your blank, try to resist the urge to, when it's spinning, sit there and kind of feel it, because if something's kind of poking out a little bit, it could cut your finger really bad. You know, it's spinning fast, so try to resist the urge to be touchy-feely with the thing spinning. I have to as well, but we're looking pretty good here, so let's see here. Let me get my thing out again. I just want to see where we're at. Yeah. So actually, I need to start coming in a lot further here. Get these bumps off right here and right here especially. Julie, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. Yeah, Ray's running the show. I like it. Who did I see? I just saw somebody. Valerie's here. How's it going? Yeah, this is a negative rate cutter. See if I can get a good shot of it. Let me try to like zoom in and hold it a little bit away here. See if that, I don't know if that's gonna work. There we go. I don't know if you can see that. So that's compared to the regular ones are just the edge of it would be just totally flat. Do I have any? No, I've got a square one. So on the regular ones you're looking at, that's not focusing at all. Totally flat on the front edge. So same thing with the circular ones. The negative rake ones work really good on resin. At this point I don't really see a point in using a regular cutter for resin. The negative rake ones work so good. I don't even mess with it. It's actually looking pretty good on this side. I'm usually pretty good at doing it, getting a kind of a spherical shape on this side. It's harder on the other side for me. So I think I can actually start sweeping this back around a little bit closer. Yeah. So the other end of it should be about right here. So I'm going to start kind of working on the other side here. See what we got. You got no notification? Oh man, well I did it really late. Frogs are noisy tonight. Oh man. Gotta watch out for them frogs. Look at that. The dust collector's sucking it all in there. That's what I like to see. Get off me. Let's stop and take a look, kind of show you guys the other side here. Starting to kind of bring it in. Oh, we got cords being tangled up. There we go. So we're kind of starting to get there. In fact, you know what would probably be a little bit easier for me is to put a center line on this. That might actually make things a little bit easier. I don't, like I said, I have no real great method of doing anything with these spheres. I just kind of wing it and see what happens. So let's just say that that's about there. So 1.5 is about right there. That might be a good guide. At least oh, I'm moving my at least an approximation. Then I can kind of see, you know, I need to go 1.5 inches on each side of there. Ray says to share the love. Thanks, Jen. I appreciate it. Art's here. What's up, man? We're having some fun with these crinkles. They're looking pretty good. And one thing to note, like none of this is that important or critical. This center line, this is all just arbitrary right now. Once I get the jig set up, then you really kind of need to keep things where, you know, you need to be set on what the center line is and all that kind of stuff. Right now I'm just trying to kind of get things close. And I'm sure there's better ways to do this. You know, methodical ways. But I don't know. I mean, this either way, you got to just kind of nibble off, take material off until you have it ready, and then with that jig, it just makes it a lot easier to get those shapes going. Steve, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. You guys, and Doug too. Oh my God, what's going on here? You guys rock. Okay, so let's go. Make sure that the camera's in there. All right. I tend to be impatient a lot of times, and when you're doing resin, a lot of people think that it's harder or like, you know, they think resin turning is like significantly different than wood, and it's different, but I think the biggest difference is it's a solid piece of material, and so your cuts are going to feel lagged. If all you've done is turned wood, you kind of need to spend more time. It's like the feed rate is going to be a little bit slower, and you know, if you have a lot of material to take off, you're better off kind of taking, you know, smaller, lighter cuts and just, you know, being patient. Which, like I said, I'm not particularly patient usually, but it definitely works better if you don't try and just hog off a bunch of material all at once. I don't really want to go too, you know, I mean, obviously there's still a lot of material left, but I don't really want to come too small on this diameter very early. I want to have a lot of strength, you know, holding this blank while we're using the sphere jig. And then you can kind of come in and bring the tool rest up, switch between the tool rest and a normal tool and the jig, and just kind of keep coming in as you refine your sphere shape. That's kind of the best way that I've found, and it kind of makes sense, you know. Keep this side strong so that it doesn't break off. I've seen a lot of people, both resin and wood, using a jig, and it just kind of, you get a little bit of a dig in, and it'll just rip it right off the base, the tenon or whatever. So, do I have a PayPal? I do. I do. Oh, I see. Yeah, I do have a PayPal. The email address is zach@nvwoodworks.com. Just kind of makes it hard because there's lots of ways that you can mess up the spelling on that. Get things cleaned off a little bit. I'm actually going to turn on the fan. All right, so let's keep on keeping on here. I think my center line's a little bit off, so I'm kind of not even paying attention to it right now. I'm going to kind of come in a little bit over here and dig this away. Still have a lot of material left, so I don't feel like it's getting too thin or anything yet. It's starting to kind of take shape now. I know it's kind of an oblong football looking sort of thing right now. But that is kind of the reason why I like the jig. I don't really have to worry about nailing the shape. For some reason these spheres are kind of an odd, it's kind of an odd shape. It's hard to just nail out the gate, you know what I mean? I feel like it is. Like I said, I'm good at this side. I'm just not very good at this side. It's getting close. I think at this point I can use the jig to kind of bail myself out. What time is it? Shoot. Let me stop real quick and look and see if I got any phone calls. For anybody that didn't catch the beginning, I'm waiting on a call from the auto shop. Okay, it looks like we're good. Because my truck is gonna hopefully be fixed today. So, all right, so honestly, that's probably, that's probably enough. I didn't do very good on this side, so let me bring this camera over here so you can kind of look at it straight on. It's not very spherical, but I have got things going at this point. Like it's starting to take shape. Don't worry about this line. I kind of offset that. I think the center is going to be a little bit closer to this side. But at this point, I can start, it's not going to be the most efficient way to go, but I can start setting up the jig. And so I think I'm probably going to have to shut everything down around 5. So I think what I'll do is just kind of show you guys, at this point, I mean, I can sit here and keep whittling away with the tools, but what I run into I may run into the problem of me just continuing to take off material and not doing it the right way, So I think right now, let's see here, no K. See, that's why I don't really like that. I don't like that option because it screws up the thing. And I don't really want my email address out there so that everybody can email me. Not that I don't want to hear from you, but it's tough when you get lots of emails for your work email. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep my tool rest over here, the banjo, because I want to be able to pull this thing back out and use it if I need to while I'm going. This tenon side is really thick, and it's much easier just to pull your tool out and nibble some away as you start to take shape with the sphere. That's what I found last time. So let's see here. Yeah, my truck still isn't fixed. They charged me an arm and a leg, and I got it back, and nothing, absolutely nothing was different. It was kind of worse. It's not that bad. I mean, it's drivable. There's no big problem or anything like that. It's just, it's really annoying, and something's wrong, and it's been the same problem since day one. So let me back things. Let's see, am I in the second one? Yeah, okay. Let me back things out a little bit here so I can kind of show you guys what's happening a little bit. So with this jig, all these jigs are different, and I'm not an expert with this thing, so I'm not going to go through step by step. If you want to see like a step-by-step how to do everything, you know, the right way for sure. Carter has, I think it's actually Craft Supplies USA. They have a video that walks you through like every step. But basically, the bottom of this thing has these two bars that you need to adjust to fit your ways, the bed ways. That way it won't move back and forth. And then on the bottom here, there's this little bar that is going to cinch everything down and hold it in place. So let's get this thing kind of... And the big problem, or the big thing, is you need to make sure that you're centered on the center line of your blank. Okay? And actually, I think I'm going to bring, before I even do this, I'm looking at this thing right now, and I need to take a little bit more off of this edge before I set this up. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then we'll kind of get this thing sort of set up. But I'm not going to really, I might make a cut or two, but I'm going to have to get going after this. So let me just do a little bit more work. I can just see this right here is actually higher than the middle here. So I just want to take this off and kind of give myself a little bit of relief right there. Just so that I don't have to sit and take tiny little nibbles with the jig. So get you guys kind of right here. Okay, I think that'll be a little bit better. Now, again, I am no expert when it comes to making spheres or using this jig, so bear with me. Still kind of learning as I go. All right, so now let's back you guys out just a little bit. Whoa, bouncy, bouncy. All right, so what I'm going to do here, and I'm not going to do a lot with this because I want to make sure that I'm doing it right. I kind of have to constantly look at the instructions and double check, make sure I've done everything right. Now, one issue that I have with the Laguna, with this, and the way that this thing works, is there's a bunch of, I don't know if I can, there's a bunch of cross members between the ways, and they can kind of get in the way of that bar thing, the thing that's holding your jig in place. So you got to be a little bit kind of careful. That's a consideration in some cases. And I think mine, this right now is going to be kind of close, I think. Let me... And so I have the luxury of not really caring if I'm dead center on this thing, you know, but I think that, man, I think it's going to be, I think this little cross member is like right where I need to be. Oh, no, actually, okay, that's okay. All right, so the basics are you just do that and then cinch it down. I think with a 9/16. Make sure that thing doesn't slip. And I haven't lined this thing up for sure yet, but then at that point, this thing's locked in, can swivel, and then the top part goes on here. Now I can kind of see how close I am to center. They have this little pin. It'll go in this first hole, and that should make it perpendicular to your work. Now the thing is, you got to make sure that this thing Got to kind of line it up. There is a line that you can look down and kind of line it up. Try and get you guys over it. See this line right here? So you can kind of use that little line in the jig to kind of, if you get the right angle, to kind of get this top part aligned properly. And then you can see where is this thing actually sitting. So let me align my top piece. And then let's see, how do you, and you lock it in with this. They had a bunch of weird knobs that I didn't particularly love, so I just replaced the knobs with a bolt because it's a lot easier. All right, so now everything's fairly well. No, that's not. Hold on. You really got to kind of take your time with some of this stuff and make sure that you've got everything. The setup on this is where it all, you know, if you don't set it up properly, you won't get good results. So that's why I don't really want to set this thing up live because I'll probably forget something. I have to kind of go back and forth and look at directions, and I don't know that you guys are going to really love sitting and watching that. But you get the gist of everything here. So you can kind of see where, you know, where's this thing meeting, and I'm a little bit to the left. Like I said, I really want to be in the center over here more. So I think I'm going to actually have to, I don't know. Because of those cross members on the Laguna lathe, you kind of need to think a little bit ahead, which I didn't do. Let's see if I can kind of get, it's just, man, it's like right on where I need to be. Let's see, it's kind of at a diagonal. Let's see if I can get enough. There we go. That's about where I wanted to be. All right, I think we're good now. Anyway, so obviously I don't know exactly what I'm doing here with this jig, but I just wanted to kind of show you a little bit of, you know, what's involved getting this thing set up. It's not that hard. It just, you know, there's steps that need to be done. Things need to be set up properly. Yeah, that's about, yeah, I'd say that's about center. And that's just so that for myself to kind of see. Now, at this point, we'll make a couple cuts here. A couple other notes about this jig. This one, the reason I went with the Carter is because it has all these multiple sizes, and I think you can go up to like 14-inch or something like that. It was the biggest. It had the biggest capacity of the jigs that I saw when I bought it. And so right now I have it on the second hole that this allows you to go up to 4.5-inch diameter. All right, so there's a lot of adjustments that you can make with this thing, and one of them is you know, the bar itself. Another one is this piece that holds the bar, which I actually do want to move this up a little bit because you want to have as little of this bar sticking out as possible so that it doesn't vibrate too much. So let me get an Allen wrench real quick. Kind of adjust that. I know I'm talking a lot, and this is probably not the most exciting thing ever, but hopefully it's kind of helpful if you're thinking about, if you're looking into these. I gotta find the right Allen wrench. Oh, there it is. If you're looking into something like this, this is one of the reasons why I'm kind of interested. I'd like to get my hands on a Vermec because I don't think there's as much fussing around to set those ones up as there. Oh shoot, how do I? This one? Ah, there we go. I don't think you have to fuss as much with that jig. Seems a little bit simpler. But overall, I mean, this one's really not that hard. It just, you know, especially if you're doing kind of the same sizes of things and all that. All right, so I think I like that. I'm going to lock this down. That's locking this bar in place. This is just kind of a stop collar so I can go back to it. And then this locks this bar in place. So like I said, lots of little knobs and things going on with this jig, but once you get everything set up, then you're good to go. So let me get my face mask on. We'll take a couple of cuts with this thing. I'll show you the jig in action, doing a jig. Try and get a good shot for you guys. I am going to bring this up. Try and collect some dust off this thing. Hopefully everything will go good. Now, take this little post out. Now we can freely move this thing around. See how I'm already cutting here. I need to take some of that off. So you want to take really light cuts. So I'm just going to kind of play around with this until that's about good. Oops. All right, here we go. Let's make a cut or two. Now, another thing that I want to mention is, so the setup, I believe that I was getting really bad results not the last time I used this, but the few times, it was like a few months ago. I think the problem was I had the cutter too high. I didn't realize I had switched my bar out. I had set the whole thing up using the original bar and cutter, and it was a different height. It actually was lower. And I was coming in too high, and I was getting a lot of catches, really bad catches, and I just was like, I'm done with this thing. So you want to make sure that you're like right at center, maybe even just a tad bit under. You don't want to be over center. It'll tend to want to really grab in if you get a catch. Center, or just like a hair below center. Make sure you're looking, if you do what I did with this negative rate cutter, make another bar. Make sure that the cutting edge is, not the top of the cutter, but the cutting edge is what you're measuring. All right. So just a kind of a quick note about that setting it up is very important. But once you've set everything up, as long as you're not changing cutters or bars, everything's all the same. Once you set this, then for the height, you're good, as long as it's on the same lathe. Go for it. Yeah. You're like, shut up. Oh, I know. There was one other thing that I wanted to mention. There is some play. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you see that? It can move a little bit. And so what I've found is when I'm cutting, I actually lift up to make the cut. That way, when I let go, it comes down. So I think the Vermec might have a lot less play. That's one of the things that people say a lot about it. Oh, there's my car. So what I do with this, and I don't think there's anything wrong with this. It has a little bit of play, whatever. But when I'm making the cut, I lift up the base. So let me back out. Let me back things out here, and I'll show you what I'm doing here. It just makes the most sense to me. I know there's play in this. I wouldn't want to push down and bring the cutter, down away from the blank while I'm cutting, and then when I let go, the cutter goes into the blank. So I actually lift up the bottom of this. Let me make sure I'm on camera. So I'm actually putting a tiny bit of pressure up while I'm pulling this thing, okay? And that way, when I let go, the cutter comes kind of away from the blank. It's not going into it. So just a couple little thoughts that I've found while using this. That'll kind of save you if you do get a catch or something. At least you have some room to let the thing come back from the blank. All right. Actually, I'm kind of working on the other side of this blank. So let me get you guys in here on top, maybe. It's not the most exciting turning you'll ever do. I'm going to slow this down as well. It doesn't need to be going that fast. About 1500. All right, and then you just adjust this thing, and then you just take a little bit more out and lifting up while I go. Do you see that? It kind of, you don't want to take a big bite. I'm actually going to back this out a little bit. I'm going to come over here. One problem that you might see is that I can only go so far with my tool rest right here. Now I maybe can move it a little bit more, but you also can tilt the head of this thing. There's lots of stuff going on all at once. But I want to try and take some of this a little bit more off on this side. You can. So you guys get the point. You just keep nibbling away at that thing, you know, adjusting the knob, feeding it in, take a cut. I definitely recommend, you know, go slow. I'm kind of going fast right now, and I'm getting kind of a weird cut, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what was going on. But you know, not the most amazing turning. It's a little different than, you know, grabbing a tool and turning the way you normally do. It's a jig, you know, and it has its purpose, but I'll tell you what, it does make getting that spherical shape a no-brainer once you've gotten everything set up. So hopefully this one will go as well as the last one. I really enjoyed doing that last one. It just, everything turned, you know, perfectly, and it worked fine for me. So anyway, guys, like I said, I got a call. the car place called while I was doing that. So I got to get going and call them back, and hopefully I will have a truck that works. But let me get this thing out of the way because I need to get my mouse. But a big thank you to everybody who super chatted. Let me see if I missed anybody. I think I saw everybody while you did it. So thank you guys for all the support. And again, don't make sure to get over to the giveaway redo video and just leave a comment, and you'll be entered into the giveaway. And then on Friday at noon, I'm going to pick a winner. I haven't looked into the spam folder yet, but I definitely will be doing that before I pick a winner, to make sure that if somebody, for some reason, if YouTube flagged a comment that should have not been flagged as spam, I can put it back in. So if for some reason one of your comments, if your comment isn't showing up in there, let me go and double check and make sure. I'll kind of probably do that like once in the middle of the week, and then I'll definitely do it right before I pick, so we make sure that everybody's entered. So anyway, guys, I can't wait. So Wednesday, I'm going to make sure that the jig is perfectly set up. I'm going to go through, double check everything, make sure I didn't miss anything, get that thing set up, and we'll just kind of nibble away at that thing and hopefully get it at least close to finished, if not totally finished. It should be pretty fun. So I hope you guys have a wonderful evening tonight. Let's see here. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I needed to mention. I guess not, but thank you guys for joining the fun. Again, thank you to everybody that super chatted. I really appreciate all you guys' support. I want to say one more thank you to everybody who has commented already on the redo giveaway video. So many really, really nice comments in that, you know, just showing appreciation for the videos. That's awesome. A lot of people said, I love your videos, and that's for anybody. I think everybody in the chat room right now who has a YouTube channel, when people say, I actually got something out of your video, or I appreciate it, I always like watching it. That's the best, you know, compliment that anybody on YouTube can get. So thank you guys for all of those wonderful comments. and I'm excited that this one's going well. So anyway, I'll stop talking. I will see you guys all on Wednesday. We should be firing it up at 3 p.m. as long as my truck is not back in the shop and all hell hasn't broken loose. Wednesday, 3 p.m. and we'll finish this guy up. So have a great night, and I will see you Wednesday.